Is November 17th, 10:30. I'm calling the Transportation Disadvantaged Local Coordinating Board Member Meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we better call? Okay. Zoe, could you please call?
Yes.
Roll call.
So we did have a few public comments. Those will be for general items at the end. And then I will do the member roll call. I do see that we have some alternates. So if you are an alternate and your member is here, you cannot make any motions or vote, but if they're not here, you can do so. So I'm just going to go just in order of my attendance list here. Chair Mimi Hanley.
Here.
All right. Jamie Ledgerwood.
Present.
Marisol Martinez.
Here.
Shannon Wilson.
Here.
Jennifer Sharifs.
Here.
Dennis Vandersdal.
Here.
Gisela Ruiz.
Here.
Tom Kammerdenner.
Here.
Sorry if I mess up your names. Jeanette Estes.
Here.
Amber Star Bush.
Here.
Camille Tate.
Here.
Anna Mae Smith. Miriam Moore.
Present.
James Stringer.
Here.
Okay, and I do see, I do want to recognize the alternates. I do see the one alternate that has their member not here. I have Anthony Lorendi.
Yes.
All right, so you may act as the voting member today. Other alternates, you may participate in discussion and, offer any comments and things like that. And then while I have your attention, I'm going to come around before we get too deep into the meeting and bring a form to fill out. If you need assistance, please come find me after or Patty and we can help you. But this is a minority reporting form, so this is an annual, I believe, state requirement. It will ask you some information the year that you were appointed to this committee. It will ask you to select your race out of some options, your gender, and it will ask you if you have a disability. There's yes, no, rather not say. If they are anonymous, you don't have to put your name on them, but make sure that you return them to a Space Coast TPO staff member before you leave, because I will have to submit this information to the state. So I'm just going to go ahead and pass this around, and then we can continue on with the meeting.
Okay. Anyone wishing to make a comment on an item not on the agenda should complete a speaker card at the sign-in desk. For items on the agenda, you will be called upon when the item is discussed. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Members of the public are invited to offer general comments unrelated to agenda items. Do we have any public comments for non-agenda items? And I do. And the comments are limited to 3 minutes. Yes, it's at the end. Okay. Now to reports. We'll let Patty go first.
So good morning, Patty Rendon, Transportation Planner with the Space Coast Transportation Planning Organization. I wanted to give some project status and update highlights from our report that is in the agenda package if you'd like to see the full report. Some of the highlights include that the Advanced 2050 Long Range Transportation Plan was adopted at the September Governing Board meeting. Staff is completing final reports and checklists for submittal for the Federal Highway Administration and the Florida Department of Transportation. The Vision Zero Toolkit draft materials are in development, and we are currently on track for the February 2026 completion date. And I also wanted to mention that we are currently conducting the Community Transportation Coordinator evaluation for the July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 period. This evaluation of transit's TD paratransit services is required from the Commission for the Transportation Disadvantaged. The Space Coast TPO serves as the designated official planning agency, or DOPA, which facilitates the evaluation of the CTC's performance in general and relative to the Commission's and local standards. The evaluation must also be in compliance with the applicable provisions of Chapter 427, Rule 41-2, and 14-90. The evaluation ensures the most cost-effective, efficient, and appropriate transportation services are provided to the entire transportation disadvantaged population of Brevard County. And a series of 5 evaluation criteria is used to evaluate the performance of the CTC: reliability, service effectiveness, service efficiency, service availability, and safety. During this process, I conducted phone surveys of randomly selected TD paratransit riders to gain insight on their experiences utilizing transit services. I also reviewed the scheduling call data from transit during this process, and just wanted to share with you that during the highest call volume timeframe on Monday mornings, callers didn't wait on hold longer than 15 minutes, despite the fact that many are calling to request to schedule multiple trips at the same time, so kind of takes a little bit longer to make sure that that's all correct. Transit also provides the option for visually impaired patrons to utilize email to schedule their trips, and I want to take this opportunity to spotlight the efforts of the transit staff to both fulfill scheduling needs while giving individualized and comprehensive attention to every paratransit rider that they serve. Thank you.
Before I forget, after this meeting, we'll have the Transportation Disadvantaged Local Coordinating, what was it called? The public hearing right after this meeting. So I just want to, I forgot to say that at the beginning, so I just want to make sure everybody knows that after this meeting, we'll have another meeting for the public hearing. Next is the Space Coast Area Transit Director's Report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. I'm Terry Jordan, Space Coast Area Transit Director. One of the first things I like to do for the members at your places, I handed out an additional item for the agenda item that falls under the Director's Report. Per annual reporting requirements, Space Coast Area Transit certifies that our ratio of administrative costs to operating costs is approximately 17%, and this is below the Tier 2 average for the state of 20.25%. And in addition, a part of this annual certification, Space Coast Area Transit also submits that the salaried executive management, which falls myself being the director, total compensation package for 2024, FY 2024 was $168,156. In addition, no gifts were accepted as defined by Florida Statute 112.312 in exchange for contracts. Those are areas that we have to report each year, and that would also be posted to our website additionally to this meeting. Overall, that is that report. In addition, also at your places, I've included some documents that shows the overall performance of the system over the past fiscal year. We had 101.8 million riders for FY25, which reflect a 3.78% increase over the FY24 ridership overall of 1.811 million riders. That concludes my report. If there are any questions or any items of information, I can provide more information on.
Mr. Jordan?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I just wanted to clarify, because I've been in the private sector, total compensation package includes health care benefits, retirement, correct?
That is correct. Salary and benefits.
Thank you. Just want to make sure people understood that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Very welcome.
Any other comments? Okay, on to the next. Transit Community Outreach Report, Carmen?
Good morning. From your last meeting, we only did 3 outreaches. Those towards the end of the year. They don't invite us at too many meetings out there. But we've had the honor to go to Brevard Association of Advanced Blind to speak. That was a very nice outing. They really enjoyed it, and a lot of information was given out. We also did Calvary Chapel which is one of my favorites. It's the academy, and we take out the 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds for a little loopy-loop, and they really enjoy it. So we didn't have that many. We did the Brevard COC Agency Resource Fair that all the agencies go out for them to learn about each other, which was really, there was a lot of agencies there. I gave out a lot of information. That's the only thing we really had since the last meeting. You have any questions?
Thank you. And now
It's me.
oh, that's you, okay, Transportation Disadvantage Performance Report Card.
We're still increasing on TD ridership. Today alone, I just printed about 15 new applicants. So Brevard County is actually growing intensively, and we have a lot of a younger generation that just can't drive. So we're taking them to college and stuff like that. So TD is not only for the elderly. So we actually are growing, and we're trying to serve with the little we have. We are right now a lot like shorthanded on drivers, but we are accomplishing the trips and performing as much as we can. Any questions?
And next, Volunteers in Motion Report, Lori.
Good morning. We did already attend the Senior Life Boomer Bash Senior Fest, which was just this couple Fridays ago, and it was really fun. First of all, if any of you haven't gone to the museum up there at the Warbird Museum, it's pretty amazing. We probably spoke to about, I would say, about 350 people. It was one of the most active senior fairs that I've gone to in a long time. And I have already had one person reach out that we met there that's interested in volunteering, so I'll be working with him the first week in December. So other than that, everything is, if anyone has any questions after reviewing the report, I'm here to answer. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now on to the consent agenda. For the, do we want to go through, I'm used to doing it on council, so we go through on item 4, A through C, all in favor?
Yes.
Do we have a motion, consent for consent items A through C, the approval of TDLCB meeting minutes from the April 11th, 2025, August 2025 meeting, approval of the annual review of grievance procedures, and the draft of the 2026 SCTPO board and committee meeting calendar. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And it's passed. And passed. Okay, on to item 5, approval of rate circulation model for the 2025-2026 state financial year. Robin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
For the 2026 rate model, which is the rates per passenger mile, ambulatory is 2.87 cents, and wheelchair is 4.92 cents, and there is no change from FY25. For the annual operating report for fiscal year 24-25, the annual operating report, which is referred to as AOR, reports the transportation disadvantage related services in Brevard County, required to be submitted under Florida Statute 427. The AOR provides an overview of the program and a summary of performance trends statewide. All of the information reported is collected and compiled from each county system annual operating report-based state fiscal year. The annual operating information is collected and reported in the CTD data collection system. The state also uses the data collected to substantiate the need to seek additional funds. As of July 2021, the AOR is not used as part of the formula for grant allocations. It contains both operational and financial data. It is based on the state's fiscal year, not the county. It does not include all transportation provided by Space Coast Area Transit. Some data is estimated from samples, and the AOR is submitted to the TD Commission, and they may request clarification and changes. Transportation operators are Space Coast Area Transit, Enterprise, and Brevard Public Schools. Passenger trip information for paratransit, contracts, and volunteers in motion, 115,653. Enterprise, 10,814. The school board, 12,522. Fixed route passes, 378,583. And that's a total of 517,572. Trips by funding sources, Agency for Persons with Disability, 26,793. TD Commission, 54,838. Vocational Rehab, 27,948. Department of Elder Affairs, 11,838. FDOT, 108,638. Local Government, 121,161. Local Non-Government, 166,356. Reasons for the trip: medical, 58,142. Employment, 195,324. Education, training, and daycare, 179,756. Nutritional, 8,760. Life-sustaining or other, 75,590. Trip information, unduplicated head count, 11,322. Unmet trip requests, TD only, 24. Passenger no-shows, 8,624. Complaints, 28. Commendations, 30. Vehicle information, the vehicle miles, 1,277,605. Road calls, 17. Chargeable accidents, 0. Total vehicles, 116. Wheelchair accessible, 145. Employee information, full and part-time drivers, 24. Volunteer drivers, 121. Revenue versus expenses. The revenue is $6,937,582. Expenses, $5,587,974. The FY 24-25 compared to FY 23-24. Trips in 23-24, 448,036. In 24-25, 517,572. Vehicle miles in 23-24, 1,280,216. In 24-25, 1,277,605. Accidents in 23-24, 1. Accidents in 24-25, none, 0. Expenses in 23-24, $5,301,149. In 24-25, $5,587,974. Revenues in 23-24, $7,167,510. In 24-25, $6,937,582. Any questions?
And then we need a motion and a second for 5A and for 5B.
Is there a motion on the floor?
I'll put the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the motion is passed. On 5B, the annual report. Okay. Okay, for the annual report, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And all items passed.
Madam Chair, can you turn your mic on?
So where did that come from? Okay, next is the annual election of vice chair and grievance subcommittee. Zoe's going to present.
Okay. All right, so this is the annual elections of the vice chair and the grievance subcommittee. This is something that will take place at the last meeting of the year. So the positions that are available for election are vice chair for the TDLCB, 3 at-large TDLCB members, and so together the chair, vice chair, and the 3 at-large members will make up the grievance subcommittee. The way that this process is going to work, I'm going to open the floor to nominations for each position one at a time. Nominations do not need to be seconded. A member may self-nominate. Alternates cannot make nominations if your voting member is present, because that counts as a motion. If only one candidate is nominated, they will be declared elected by acclamation, but we will still need a motion and a second to approve that. Multiple nominations will lead to a vote by a show of hands or a simple majority. And if the current member wishes to retain their position, which I have still I've spoken to a couple people, they must still be nominated with a motion and a second to approve. And that member, they do not have to be present either. So after we go through all the nominations, I will call for any further nominations. If I hear none, I will close them. After all of the nominations, if we need to vote, we will put the position to a vote and approve it with a motion and a second. So just a little background on this process too. In accordance with our TPO policy, the TDLCB shall elect a vice chair and the officers at the last regularly scheduled meeting of the calendar year. They will serve for the period of 1 year, starting on January 1st until December 31st of the upcoming year, so January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026, or until a successor is selected, whichever comes later in time. The vice chair will serve as chair if the chair is unable to attend, and in the absence of a chair and a vice chair, the board may appoint for that particular meeting any member in attendance, but that's only if both members are absent. So we're going to start with the election of the vice chair. Ms. Camille Tate has already expressed interest to me in continuing to serve. Camille, you may nominate yourself. Someone else may nominate you. I will open the floor to nominations.
I guess I'm nominating myself.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Second, okay. Any other nominations? Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and close that. And since Camille was the only one, congratulations, Camille, on another year as vice chair.
Thank you.
Okay, great. All right, next we will go, Patty, do you want to give a little background on what the grievance subcommittee does, just to explain to the members what their responsibility will be if they need to serve on that?
Of course. The primary purpose of the grievance subcommittee is to process, investigate, and make recommendations to all unresolved grievances and/or complaints related to transportation disadvantaged services. These procedures provide a more formal process for the TDLCB to follow to address concerns by any person or agency, including but not limited to transportation disadvantaged users, potential users, agencies, and other interested parties utilizing the transportation system. The grievance subcommittee provides a mechanism for issues to be brought before the subcommittee to address unresolved complaints, which shall meet as often as necessary to resolve those complaints in a timely manner.
Okay, thank you. So that is what these positions are going to serve. At-large, we'll do these one at a time. At-large member number 1 is currently held by Anna Mae Smith. Anna Mae is not in attendance today, but she did tell me that she is interested in continuing to serve. Does anyone want to nominate Anna Mae or any other member at this time?
I'd like to nominate Anna Mae.
Anna Mae, okay. Okay. Any other nominations for seat number 1? Hearing none, I'm going to close, and Anna Mae Smith will continue as at-large member number 1. The next two seats, Kelly Myers is no longer on this board. Carlos Colon is an alternate now. So for at-large member number 2, I will open the floor to any nominations.
I'd like to nominate myself.
Okay?
Tony Lorenzi.
Tony
That's
Loren,
okay.
yeah?
I'm a backup to Ms. Anna Smith, is that okay?
I-
Is that violating rules of?
I believe that alternate,
With respect, we were told alternates were not allowed to hold those positions.
Yeah,
they
but
were,
she's-
That's what we were
okay,
That's why I'm asking.
okay, is that, okay.
I
I,
withdraw my,
okay, I had admit that had slipped under my radar, so that, thank you, Diane.
Can I?
Okay, so yeah, so any current members would like to nominate themselves or someone else?
I know, but can I nominate him?
Okay, Amber
Can
Star
I-
Bush for seat number 2.
Can I, wait a minute, can I nominate Anthony or not?
No, just because he's an alternate, so these seats will be members.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other nominations for seat number 2 besides Amber Star Bush?
I'll fill in for Carlos.
Okay, we'll do that one next. So Amber Star, hearing no other nominations, going once, I forgot to get I don't think I got a motion for Anna Mae. We'll go back to that. So may I get a,
yes, Marion did.
Yeah.
I didn't write it down, yeah.
So Ms. Moore and Ms. Bush.
Marion. So I'm sorry, Miriam Moore made the motion for Anna Mae Smith. Was there a second that I'm? Ms. Bush, okay, sorry about that. Okay, and then a motion to approve Amber Star Bush as member number 2.
I'll make that motion.
Motion, okay.
I'll second.
Was that Camille?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And then I have member number 3, Jamie Ledgerwood has nominated herself to replace her FDOT counterpart Carlos Colon. Do I have a motion to approve Jamie Ledgerwood as number 3?
Motion.
Motion by Mimi Hanley. And a second?
I'll second.
Who said that?
Miriam.
Miriam. Okay. And then, did we do a motion for Camille Tate? I apologize. Did we get a motion for that?
Yeah, we did that.
Who did do y'all, I'm sorry. Did y'all catch who did the motion?
I'll take
I
it.
would say it was Ms. Bush, but I don't know, or Ms.
I think I
Moore.
seconded that.
Yeah.
So Bush and then more, okay. My apologies, I just didn't take a note. All right. So with that, all the nominations have been approved. We have the membership as follows. Will be Chair Mimi Hanley, Vice Chair Camille Tate, and then the 3 at-large members that will round out that grievance subcommittee are going to be Anna Mae Smith, Amber Star Bush, and Jamie Ledgerwood. All right, any other questions or comments for me? All right, thank you for your willingness to serve. We appreciate it. Okay.
Okay, on to the 2026 TD Planning Grant First Quarterly Invoice and Progress Report. And that's going to be, oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. The draft for the 2025 Public Participation Plan. Sorry, I went a little too fast.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Georgiana Gillette. I'm the director of the Space Coast TPO, and it's a pleasure to meet everyone here. I am filling in for Abby Hemingway. She is our Public Involvement and Outreach Manager, and she's under the weather, so you're stuck with me today. And this is just going to be a very brief overview of our public participation plan, which is a core work product of the Space Coast TPO, and it's updated every 3 years. And the public participation plan is really a blueprint for action, and it's to involve and engage the public in transportation planning. The public has a guide to access and participate in the planning process. Public engagement is really deeply embedded in everything that we do and everything that we touch, and we strive for meaningful and effective public engagement, and that's really to improve our decision-making. So the public participation plan outlines organizational structure and work products. It describes the TPO public communication tools. It prescribes public comment periods for adopted plans and programs, and it offers opportunities for public involvement. The TPO has posted its draft 2025 Public Participation Plan for public review for 45 days, which began on October the 27th and runs through December the 11th. And with the goal adoption date of December the 11th at the Space Coast TPO Governing Board meeting. We're currently advertising the public comment period on all of our digital channels, including our website, social media, e-news features, as well as providing information at in-person meetings and outreach events. Public input during the development of the PPP, as we like to call it, is essential to make sure the process provides full and open access to all. So we will be offering multiple ways for citizens to provide comments, including email, phone, or in writing, and an online public comment portal. All public comments are recorded and included in the final public participation plan. So, of course, you can email Abby at abby.hemingway@spacecoasttpo.com. You can call us at our office, 321-690-6890, or you can write us and mail it to the Space Coast TPO, 2725 Judge Fran Jameson Way, Building B, Room 105, Melbourne, and we're just right next door. So one new method that we have implemented over the course of the last few years is hosting an online portal to act as a hub for all of our digital comments. And here's just a snapshot of what that looks like online if you would like to use this method for comment. And then lastly, this is an overview of some of the modifications we have made to the draft PPP. By reviewing the core work product every 3 years, we make sure to incorporate any updates or changes that we observe in our communication, coordination, and participation in transportation planning efforts. Some of the things that we did, we aligned our fonts and graphics with our TPO brand guide. Clear guidelines for the core work product public comment period, inclusion of call-out boxes and direct hyperlinks for major plans and projects. Core work product highlights overview is also included in the plan. We've updated some of the materials, state and federal certifications, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which is our infrastructure bill that we are currently operating under, coordination efforts. It also now includes measures of effectiveness report. We need to monitor how we are engaging with the public. New public participation tools such as LinkedIn and Nextdoor are tools that we are now using, and inclusion of census data information and a review of strategic methods to reach underserved populations. And so in your agenda package, you have the draft public participation plan. And we would love it if you would go through it and see if there's anything that you think we can do better or anything that we've missed in this plan. And Madam Chair, that concludes my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, on to the next one is the, let me see. I'm messed up here. I'm looking at my thing. I'm looking at the wrong one. It's the right one. Transportation disadvantage 5310 funding source from the DOT. And Ms. Jamie Ledgerwood. Yes. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, of course. I click the mouse myself.
Yeah, you can use the remote there.
This one?
Yes, and then you can use the microphone as well.
Okay, thank you. Well, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all today about our Section 5310 funding. My name is Jamie Ledgerwood, and I work for the Department of Transportation as a Transit Project Coordinator and Grant Manager. I now cover the counties of Brevard, Lake, and Sumter. Carlos has moved on to Marion, Flagler, and Volusia, and Joe Santiago Mercer covers Seminole, Orange, and Osceola counties. So the Department of Transportation is designated under the Florida statutes to receive and administer Federal Transit Administration, FTA, funds through the Sections 5305, Sections 5310, 5311, and 5339 programs. In our office, we only administer the last three. Section 5305D funds is available via a Consolidated Planning Grant, CPG, program, which is consisted of both 5305D funds and Federal Highway Administration planning funds. FDA requires that each state develops and submits written policies and procedures that are used in administrating FDA grant programs. These policies and procedures are referred to as State Management Plan, SPM, or SMP, sorry. The state of Florida has also public transit funding programs that FDOT is responsible for managing and administrating to eligible recipients. The purpose of the SMP is to provide comprehensive framework of governing policies and procedures to be used to meet the requirements of the federal and state funding grants administered by the department. In this role, the Department of Transportation is required to manage fiscal elements of these programs in accordance with its existing procedures, FDA guidelines, and other applicable state and federal regulations. The SMP also serves as a guidance and training resource for the department's program staff and subrecipients. The FDA Circular 9070.1H provides updated guidance for the Enhanced Mobility for Seniors and Individuals with Disabilities Program, Section 5310. Issued by the Federal Transit Administration, this circular offers instructions and guidance to recipients of FDA financial assistance, covers program administration, reflects statutory changes since the last version, which was 1970.1G, aims to add transportation options for seniors and individuals with disability by supporting transportation services that meet their specific needs. $5310 funds are allocated yearly by the federal government to designate direct recipients who must divide the funds between eligible recipients for eligible activities. FDOT is direct recipient of these funds for all the small urban and rural areas and all our large urban areas, with an exception for LINK's urbanized area funds, which the agency receives directly and dispersed to subrecipients as applicable. FDOT has a yearly grant application process to determine the subrecipients and activities to be funded. The funds may be used to either capital or operating costs. However, a minimum of 55% of the funds programmed in each geographic area must be used first towards the capital awards each year before being able to use the remaining 45% towards operating costs. For example, operating costs or capital expenses would consist of vehicles, equipment, preventative maintenance for those vehicles that were purchased with 5310 funds. Operating examples would be salaries, fringe, fuel, generally items with a useful life of less than 1 year. And these are our partners in Brevard County. And again, my name is Jamie Ledgerwood. I am with the Florida Department of Transportation, and this is my contact information. And I am here to answer any questions if you have any.
Madam Chair, I have a question. So is your counterpart over on the West Coast, sort of South Big Bend area, Melissa Savitskas? I'm saying her last name wrong.
I'm not sure.
Okay, because I was over.
There's a
on
lot of
the
moles.
other side of the state, because I have the whole central region for my agency, and she was explaining this thing. So are you the grant manager for those counties that you have designated
Lake
here?
Sumter and Brevard,
Okay,
yes.
and then Carlos would be for those counties, and then
Volusia,
Joe for the
Flagler,
others?
and
Okay,
Marion,
all right.
correct.
I'm going to share all of your information with
Yeah.
our providers. Thank you. Appreciate the
Yeah.
opportunity for people to apply for this.
Oh.
And I understand funding is available now, according to
Yes,
her.
that-
Okay.
yes. It's out right now, the solicitation's out right now. It closes January 9th.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Just a clarification, when you say partners, are those beneficiaries of the 5310 funds?
Some of
or-
them, yes,
Okay,
yes, yes,
thank
they,
you.
yes, correct.
Is there any other questions? I don't see any. Thank you for your
Thank you so
report.
much.
And then on to information items. Items for no action. For the fiscal year 2026 TD Planning Grant First Quarter Quarterly Invoice and Progress Report. And
These items are provided for your information, so there's no action that needs to be taken. But if you had any questions about either the quarterly invoice or the membership and meeting attendance lists, now would be the time for any comments or questions.
I don't see any. Thank you. Now on to item 8, agency member report. Any members have anything that they need to discuss, update, or present here at the meeting?
Madam Chair, I'd like to go. We have some great news. We, at the State of Florida Agency for Persons with Disabilities, under the leadership of our new director, Robert Astalos, he likes us to call him Bob. He's doing wonderful and sweeping improvements and changes within our agency. And we just recently, last month, mailed out 5,612 letters, and that's the exact number, statewide to persons with disabilities who are in our pre-enrollment status, formerly known as our waiting list. We don't call it that anymore. And this is giving people, that many people statewide, the opportunity to potentially receive actual waiver enrollment into our program and to be funded for services. In our region, the central region, which includes this county, Brevard, of course, we have 1,793 of those individuals.
Could you
So-
could you state what agency you're with?
Yes,
So
I
that,
sure can. Yes, again, we're the State of Florida Agency for Persons with Disabilities. So we're very excited about that. More people are going to be getting help, and it's just an exciting time. And so I just wanted to pass that information along. And then I want to say this because I didn't see a line item for member comments other than reports. A small but meaningful request, if my name, the spelling, but can you also strike local representative of, because everyone here is,
Just the official, it's in our policy.
okay, but everyone here is a state agency or department member, and everyone else says Florida. We're also the Florida.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that's just how it's written in our policy,
Yeah.
the membership, but I'll look into it.
yeah, if you could, yeah, this is the Florida Agency for Persons with Disabilities. I just want to make sure that there's no, this implies something different when I read it, and I want to make sure we're a State of Florida Governor's Agency as well. So if that could be corrected, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's it for us. Thank you.
is there anybody else that has anything to add to the meeting today? Nobody else?
I have some issues to discuss. Is this the
That-
opportunity to do
No,
that?
that's under public
Do that under
comments.
public? Okay.
That's under public comments.
Did we want that under public comment or member report? And then general comments?
General comments, it's an option for general comments at this point. We give that opportunity, Madam Chair.
For members, okay. All right. I'm sorry, I'm just used to doing council meetings, so it's a little different here, so yes, you can go on, Miss.
Oh, okay, go?
Go.
Okay, thank you. I'm not sure either, so that's why I always ask. So, yes, I have a question. I had a couple of things go on from the last meeting to this meeting. I was contacted by a visually impaired woman named Bethany. She called to schedule a ride for a meeting on Saturday and was told that she could not schedule it because the bus did not run on Saturday. She spoke with Dennis. She contacted me. I sent an email. The email went unresponded to, and Bethany was never contacted by SCAT. Bethany and I called back the next, or 2 days later, something like that, I don't remember, and spoke with Michael, and Michael got her scheduled for Saturday. I don't think I'm saying anything new, and this has been going on for years, and we keep trying to get this corrected, and it's not getting corrected. I don't know what else to do, other than I'm doing my job as a board member, which is to communicate with my ridership and to be their voice and to be their advocate. But the same problems persist, and now the emails go unanswered, and the riders are not being contacted and being corrected. I've contacted the director in Tallahassee and asked what I'm supposed to be doing and what we should be doing, and he said I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So what else is there to do to solve this problem?
I don't have the answer. I'm sure that staff will look into that and bring it forward next time for the next meeting.
Actually, Madam Chair, we'll respond. Carmen and I receive, and Carmen can much better speak to the times and the dates and the specifics. However, we receive correspondence from Ms. Jennifer regarding this specific situation. I passed it on to Carmen. Carmen had her team contact the rider directly. Admittedly, there was misinformation given to the rider, but it was immediately corrected once we got our email from Ms. Jennifer regarding the concern from the rider. The day was maybe 2 days after we received it because her travel was on Saturday and she was able to make the trip on that Saturday. I can look at my emails and tell the dates, but Carmen, if you can give more details on the specifics.
Once we got the email from Jennifer, I went in and listened to the conversation with Dennis. Dennis is technically, he's a radio operator. He's not on the phone on a regular basis. We corrected that issue immediately. Bethany was contacted. She needed to renew her application, which she did it the same day, and that same day she got a Saturday trip. Yes,
Yeah,
it was information given out incorrectly. We took care of it.
Yes, so she wasn't contacted. She and I called in and spoke to Michael, and no one contacted her because we waited, and no one, I said, just wait, they'll contact you. And then no one ever contacted her, so we called because she needed the ride for Saturday. My question is, I don't understand, if he's a radio operator, but how, that's never been the policy, right? That you can't ride on Saturday on the paratransit? It's always been.
You could ride on Saturdays.
Then why do they keep saying this over and over and over and over? Like, where do they get that idea that we can't ride on Saturday?
Once again, I understand your concern. I'm not being defensive, but I'll let you know that. However, it is not an over and over and over situation. I want to be clear. We do our best to make sure our operators and our staff are fully informed of all the items that they're specifically required to address. This information was given incorrectly, that is correct, but it's not an over and over situation. This is the first time I've heard, and Carmen, if you've heard any others, please. This is the first time I've heard of a person being told they can't ride on Saturday. We provide numerous trips every Saturday. So for it to be a continuous concern, this is the only time I've heard anyone send that complaint back. And as I've mentioned before, the individual could contact us directly at any point in time to, and every time we get calls like those, Jazz, Jocelyn Scott, or Carmen address the issue with staff and also, in most cases, contact the rider.
So it was maybe a year ago, we had a assistant director from another 501c3 come forward and say that he was being told, he spoke in public comments, that he was told that he couldn't ride on Saturday and that his people could not book on Saturdays. And we asked to play the recording in the board meeting, and come to find out it was Jazz telling him that he could not ride on Saturday and telling them that they could not ride on Saturday. And I asked the same question: why would Jazz, the supervisor, tell someone, especially an executive director or an assistant executive director to another 501c3 that supports the disabled, that they can't ride on Saturday? And you said you didn't know why she would say something like that. And I have personally reported this multiple times throughout the years as a board member and before being a board member. I was told for years that I couldn't ride on Saturdays, and I found out, I don't remember, I think it was one day in a board meeting after being told for years that I couldn't. So this is something that has been going on over and over and over for years. And I've been reporting it, and others have complained about it. And I don't understand, like, when you keep complaining about something and keep bringing it to attention, how does it persist?
I'll address the first part. The trip was for a late evening trip that we could not provide. It was after hours of our operation for Saturday service. That's why it could not be provided, not because he wasn't able to. And actually, it was for visually impaired patrons that wanted to go to a specific location and then be picked up to return home, and the service was after the hours of our operation. That's why
Are you speaking of Bethany?
No, the individual that you mentioned for the 501c3 organization that requested transportation for his patrons.
He was speaking specifically for himself. He was trying to get to an event with me, and it was an event for another 501c3 that he was trying to get to, and he was told that he couldn't get there. And so he came and did public comments and spoke in public comments. It was a day event.
Excuse me a second.
What's going on?
My apologies. I wanted to make sure, from what I understood, and Carmen, please, you know better than I do.
Okay, the trip you're talking about, this was like a year ago.
I think so, something like that.
We did do the trip, and he himself canceled. So we've been doing Saturday trips for like forever. However, the Saturday trips has to fall within the time range our buses run.
Right.
All our buses, they stop running 6:30-ish?
Yes.
6:30. After 6:30, we have no service on the road. So we cannot perform late trips. However, we have done the gala with Maria Rigliosi's group, Camille Tate, Joyce Taylor. We have taken them, but we can't return them at 12 midnight.
I know, and that's not what we're asking for. I'm just asking, like Bethany just asked to get to an event at 10 in the morning until 1 o'clock and was told she can't ride on Saturdays.
Okay.
And the other mistakes were hers, that she didn't have her paperwork done right. All that was all her. She owned it. But, and then, this is something that was Jazz that he spoke to a year ago, and she said, I heard the recording, and it said, she flat out said, you can't ride on Saturdays. We don't do any rides on Saturdays. And he, so this is a continuous issue. So when we keep bringing it up, how do we solve the problem?
I think the only way we do is, as you have done in this most recent case, give specifics. If we know there's a concern, we get with the representative directly and address it directly. The other issue you're speaking about, I apologize, I misunderstood who you were talking about and the situation you're talking about.
That's okay.
However, like I mentioned, the last situation with the operator that gave bad information that I am aware of, we corrected it, and it will not happen in the future. We are well aware that mistakes do happen, and we do our best to ensure that they do not continue to happen.
Okay, so we'll never have to discuss again that somebody was told they can't ride on Saturday.
I can't say that, but we'll do our best to make sure it doesn't happen.
Okay. Then I had a couple others. In the avenues, we discussed the avenues last time. We got that solved. It was a miscommunication or just a confusion. I did ask if there were any other organizations that are reporting or that we are understanding that the paratransit cannot drop the person off at their requested door-to-door location. I haven't heard of any other organizations other than there was a question about the mall. And there, I had a couple of people reach out about the mall, stating that they can't take the paratransit to Dillard's. If they want to go to Dillard's or to Penny's, that they have to go to Macy's. And this is a difficult situation when someone is physically disabled or visually impaired or elderly and less mobile. Is that the true case about the mall, that we can't drop people off at their desired location?
I'm not aware of any restrictions of going to, I'm sorry, actually, I have operations and maintenance manager come forward and address that directly, Mr. Parker.
So, good morning. So the Melbourne Square Mall has requested us for the paratransit pickups and drop-offs to be at Macy's because Melbourne Police Department has a substation right inside the doorway there. So knowing that a lot of our customers and clients have disabilities, have different issues and stuff, the mall staff feels that it's safer for us to pick up and drop off there. And we also utilize that spot for the Route 21 to pick up and drop off there and on Saturdays. So that way it really hampers down on a lot of confusion.
Okay. Yeah.
May I, Jennifer?
Yes.
So, your responsibility ends. I think that's sound judgment. Maybe we can, and I'll do it myself, because I have the time, I'll go talk to the mall ownership and say, hey, maybe could you make sure these people get escorted or taken to where they need to go, right? I mean, I understand the mall's trying to limit their liability, right? So, but once you get through those doors, right, how to get them through into the mall, and you go through the perfume section of Macy's, if anyone's not been in Melbourne Square, and get out into the main section to other buildings. So I'm making a suggestion, I'll gladly do it, just if that's okay, right? Because I don't think you can do multiple drop spaces without,
Well, it's not just due to liability. I think what the mall's concern is also is they have other clients that rent space in the mall that have restaurants, they have different types of stores. That's an actual mall entrance at Macy's, so it's not actually at the Macy's, we're down in the corner, and that's one of their actual entrances, right? So that way they're not bothering any of their other tenants with buses being out there, picking people up, dropping people off. And as I'm sure we can all understand, malls in general, since the pandemic, have been in a lot of trouble. So, anything that they request of us that is not, too far out there, we try and work with them and try and be understanding of what they have, trying to, because they have so many empty spaces in there, all the malls. So it's the same thing with Merritt Square Mall. We pick up and drop off at the same place where our fixed route buses go.
but I do know, because I'm a Melbourne resident for 38 years, over by Penny's, which is on the west side of the campus, there is basically a mall entrance, just like you described on the east side where Macy's is, there. So it would be a matter of driving in front, going around the sporting goods store, going whatever, going past the Brazilian place and going around, where on the other side, literally on the other side of the mall, right?
Sure.
So if that's possible, right? Again, keeping with, that's a mall entrance and not a specific store entrance. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tony, I can assist with that as long as, I don't know how that would interfere, and maybe somebody can tell me with the Sunshine Law, if Tony and I work on that together, is that a violation of that because we would be discussing all of this?
I think it's only a violation if what you discuss comes to a vote.
Okay.
I believe, Georgiana, do you know, can members, is it a violation of sunshine law only if they're discussing something that is going to be voted on? Like, can they discuss other things, like members outside of meetings, or?
Yes, but if it's something that's going to be voted on,
Then
that's where you need to be very careful.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that, Claire, because I wasn't sure, so I just didn't try to discuss anything with anybody. But yeah, Tony, let's definitely, we can solve that problem.
Right, but I'd be asking you, sir, and your organization to make a change in your operating procedure. I don't know if I have that opportunity or should do that. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Thank you.
Can I make a request?
Yes, ma'am.
Jennifer and
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
If you can share with me what comes out of your discussions with the mall? Because I actually spoke to the operations manager of the mall, I think it was right before COVID. Because before, when I used to go to the mall, I would get dropped off, there was a restaurant, they had benches, and all the fixed route buses would line up. And then all of a sudden, it had changed. So I had gotten a complaint from one of my members, and I actually reached out to the mall. I want to say it was early 2019 or maybe late 2018. And they gave me the same reasons that Lance is giving you, that it is a safety concern, you know, yada, yada, yada. But let me know what you get from the mall, because I'd be interested to hear what they would say now, because as a private entity, they can tell the bus where and where not to come in. So I want to see how they engage with you on that topic, because when I did it, it was a flat no, it's going to be Macy's. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, when I reached out to the avenues, they were like, absolutely not, go wherever you need to go, right in front of the store. We don't want to cause our elderly, our disabled people any complications or worry. And I think that if the mall understood that, they would feel the same. I can't imagine somebody not, you know, wanting to put a blind woman somewhere where she couldn't find what she needed. I can't imagine that. That's a problem for the mall itself. So we'll definitely do that. Yeah.
And to answer your statement, Mr. Lorendi, that last statement made by Jennifer, I agree with that. It's in the best interest of the patron, so I have no concern with either yourself or Jennifer having that conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan.
I had a question about, so with the avenues, you know, the whole confusion with the avenues, I did communicate with my bus drivers and asked them if they had been informed of that, and all of them said no. And I asked, you know, are you aware that you can go to the door in the avenues? And it was a mixed bag. Some of them said, oh yeah, we go straight to the door of the desired location. And then others said, oh no, we go to a specific location. So I said, well, how do you disseminate your information? Like, how does this get to all of you? And do you have like an email that comes out, hey, we have new information in the avenues, you can go wherever you want? And they said no, that they had a bulletin board or something like that. So it then comes down to, the problem would be educating the drivers as the rider, which the rider shouldn't have to do that. I already have enough stress on my shoulders. So how can, you know, is there a way to do that, to get the information to all the drivers so that everybody's on the same page?
Okay, we had a quarterly a meeting with the drivers last month, 3 weeks ago. What was told to them was, follow the comments on your trip. Now the comments on the avenues says Kohl's, it says the store that the person wants to go to. So they were told, you have to follow what we write on your manifest.
One driver did tell me that. Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
So, yeah.
I think it was right, it was probably 4 weeks ago. So it was probably,
Yeah, it was
or
last.
excuse me, right after the meeting.
Yes, it was last month, and now they just go around the easiest way. They find the easiest way to get in and out, because,
Great.
as you know, where the cobblestones is kind of tight.
I do.
So they follow around it, and they get them to the door of the store they go into.
Beautiful, thank you. And then how was the app coming along that for paratransit, so we know when the bus is 10 minutes away? We talked about that, and was it last meeting or the meeting before?
We talked about it a couple of times. We're still in the process of, well, actually, Carmen and her team are in the last stages of pulling together a request for proposals document. We expect that it will be going out on the street, hopefully January, or early to mid-January. And then after that, the time frame is probably about 6 months for the entire process.
Okay, and will that make it possible for us to schedule rides via the app?
Not in the initial phase. We want to roll out and ensure that the system works as we expect. So we anticipate phase 2 will allow for our patrons to schedule their own trips.
Okay, thank you. And then the last question I had was, okay. What about getting us kind of online with the other transportation systems around the state that are using Uber and Lyft? Has there been any efforts made towards partnering in a way with Uber and Lyft to give rides?
Not with Brevard County at this time, ma'am.
How can we do that?
So there are a couple of issues with that currently at the state level. In particular, ADA compliance, driver, to put it nicely, our operators are vetted completely. We have drug testing, we have background checks, we have all types of screening for any operator that's picking up a paratransit rider that uses Space Coast Air Transit today. When partnering with a third-party provider, we don't have that coverage any longer, and that's a concern that is throughout the state. Maybe, Jamie, if there's anything that you could put to that from the state level, but as far as transit entities, we're looking at different ways of doing what's called mobility on demand, but partnering with those third-party providers is not something that we are looking at for Space Coast Air Transit at this time. To answer your question, how can you get it done? I can't answer that. There's a way for you to get that done.
Yeah, there are other organizations that use it. I took the medical Uber here. My Health First health plans gives me 32 rides a year, and I took it here to this meeting. They work with Uber and Lyft. And, I think the counties around us use that program where someone gets, say, $20 a day, $20 a week, something like that, to use Uber and Lyft. And that's huge for especially somebody like me who can't drive at all. It makes it possible for me to have almost a normal life. And so I would love to see it if we did something like that. It would change the world for the disabled people in Brevard County.
Camille, I have a comment.
Well, actually, before you do, thank you for that comment, Ms. Cleveland.
So, actually, before you became transit director, I think I brought this up. I frequently travel to Jacksonville, and they use a private company and only use Uber and Lyft when they don't have an actual vetted driver. They'll send you to an Uber or Lyft rider, and that company covers the cost of that. That's a user, is the company I know that Duval County uses. And I have actually brought it up a few times in the last few years since I started making a lot of trips using them when I'm in Jacksonville. I would be very interested in maybe exploring something like a user. I know there are other companies out there that they're not technically Uber and Lyft drivers. They have to follow the rules of paratransit and the ADA and stuff like that. I'd be more than happy to explore some of that with Space Coast Air Transit, because it takes the pressure off of the buses themselves for those who are truly mobility challenged. And they are like basically on-demand rides. You do pay more, but if you give better service, I'm sure the passengers will be willing to pay more than what they pay for a bus. But that's something I've been very interested in for a number of years. So I wouldn't mind having some conversations about that with Space Coast Air Transit.
Thank you, Ms. Tate.
And the last thing I'm sorry.
No, saying thank you as well.
Oh, the last thing I had was, I know someone did a report on the wait times when you call in, just said the wait time was generally around 15 minutes. That has not been my experience. My experience in general has been the wait times have gone right back up to 20 minutes or longer. I've had to hang up multiple times because I was at, say, 20 minutes and I had to go into work. I had a client coming in or something like that. And I just had to hang up and try again. I've gone, a couple of days in a row where it took me, say, 2 days before I could get through to somebody because the call time was 15 to 20 or some odd minutes. I don't normally wait any longer than that. It's been my experience that the wait times have gone back up. Sometimes a couple of times I've called and gotten right through. But most of the time lately, it's been a very long wait.
Okay.
Any other?
That's it. Thank you.
Any other comment? Okay. Any other reports or comments from the members? Okay, now we'll go on to public comment. Remember, it's 3 minutes. Felicia Wilson.
Good morning. I just wanted to ask, like on Fridays when I call, is there any way that instead of me trying to call, can I go online and make a reservation for paratransit?
At this time, unfortunately not.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. on to Maria Rigolosi. Sorry if I'm butchering your last name, I'm so sorry.
I disowned it. I'll try to make my comments 3 minutes. In relation to the Melbourne Square Mall and dropping people off at the Macy's entrance, I myself am in communication with other members that belong to the National Federation of the Blind. Some of them have ambulatory issues and cannot walk from Macy's all the way down to Penny's. That's number one. I myself, back in 2020, made an appointment at the salon school trying to get services on the cheap, and the driver refused to let me off by Penny's because that's where the school is located. He left me off at Macy's. I had no clue how to get to JCPenney's / the salon school. A gentleman going into LA Gear, LA Fitness, says there's something wrong, and I explained it. He flagged down a security guard in a golf cart. And he said, this lady's got to get to the other end of the mall, and he gave him a name. He says, okay, hop on. He took me, I did my business. By the time I was done, the mall was open. It is difficult to be dropped off at Macy's when you need to be at Penny's, and you're walking with a cane, and you're not using a walker that you can sit on. That's number one. Number two, as far as wait times, I have to say, I put the phone on speaker, and I let the phone sit there 20 and 30 minutes. So that's God's honest truth. Thankfully, through some help of her friends, one passenger, Ada Vicente, was able to be put on subscription instead of calling to get a ride to work and get a ride to go home, which was absurd because she's been doing this for years. She works at the Goodwill on Wickham Road. I myself work and start at 7:30. When the bus picks me up at 7, it is questionable as to whether I'm going to get to work on time. Get behind a school bus, I'm already late. Somebody's sitting at a traffic light playing on their phone. Yeah, the bus can't use its horn. I'm ready to jump out the door and tap on the window and say, get out of the way. I got to go to work. It's unreasonable. Drivers have to go from pillar to post to try and get there on time. To drop me off at Patrick Air Force Base, and then that driver to be at Promise of Brevard at 8:05, and meanwhile that driver dropped me off at 7:45, that ain't gonna happen. Most of your drivers are stressed out between the time limits that are on those manifests. The manifests are not reviewed as for cohesion, practicality, to pick me up and then have to go back and pick somebody else up when we could have been picked up together. I don't mind riding with anybody else. I was at 8745 North Wickham Road, the Plaza building for Vieira Hospital. I saw the bus come and I thought it was for me.
Your time has elapsed.
Sorry. Another time.
Okay, next is Lynn Dallas.
Hello. I wasn't planning on coming. I don't do very well with these things. Oh, I see the number. But I wanted to come because there's a lot of people that don't feel like they can make complaints. A lot of what people have said, I've had problems with the wait times being at least a half an hour to an hour. The mall, I don't go to the mall anymore because I can't walk to the other side. I've been with SCAT for over 20 years, and it's very difficult. In 2019, I actually had to sell my house because I was told that I lived in Southeast, I lived in Southeast Palm Bay, and they said that I couldn't get a ride. I work at the college in Melbourne. I was told they couldn't take me. I ended up spending over $800 a month for several months to get to work, sold my house, moved to Melbourne, then found out that wasn't true. There's a lot of misinformation. I was told I can't ride on Saturday. There's a lot of negativity and a lot of anger. I feel horrible for the drivers. The drivers are to pick somebody up, drop me off at 7:30. Their next pickup is at 7:30 for someone far away. Been told for years there's going to be a new, some sort of, new software. We've been told that for years. The drivers get yelled at if they go out of order. Sometimes they'll be told, okay, go ahead, do it, but usually they're yelled at. They're yelled at not to pick up people early. I've seen the bus go by and wait for 15 minutes when they could see that I was there waiting for the bus to come get me. The customer service manager had told me, because when I tried to get rides and I was very stressed out, she told me that I didn't know what stress was. And I would like administration to try and take the bus for a month and see what it's like. It's very stressful. I'm very thankful for SCAT because I wouldn't be able to get to a lot of places, but I can't get to a lot of places. I can't go Saturday, and time is up. I could talk to people for quite some time about this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for February the 2nd at 10:30, and the TDLCB annual public hearing will be following the adjournment of this meeting.
Don't get up yet. Don't get up yet.
Okay.
Do we give like a buffer time between the first meeting and the annual? Do you want to just go right into the hearing? Okay. What did he say? Did you say 2-minute tech break?
Yeah, I just shut down.
Okay.
Okay, but we do have to adjourn this meeting first, though.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we can adjourn this meeting.
Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'm here.
Mr. Stringler?
I'll second.
Ms. Tate?
Just,
All in-
I will need to take member roll call for the public hearing. So if you have to use the restroom, stretch your legs, we'll take a 5-minute break.
We got to say all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
The opinions expressed by any member of the public during any period of public comment do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, or the program sponsor, and are solely those of the presenter. The Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, and the program sponsor hereby expressly disclaim any and all responsibility or liability for any defamatory or slanderous statements expressed by any member of the public during any such period.